Hey everybody, it's Dina Rico with the Creativity Cave, and look at this adorable card that I have for you today. Wait for it. Oh, friends forever. Isn't that so stinking cute? So this card features the barn door bundle, which includes this stamp set, as well as these framelits, and I don't have all the pieces out, but here are the framelits. There are 2 wreaths and a little sign that you can hang on your barn door. There's several sentiments, and of course, all kinds of extra pieces that go with these stamps to make this a really versatile set. If you caught my Facebook Live yesterday, I showed you some great tips on how to make this card, and I love this barn door. So I'm going to make another barn door card today using the We Must Celebrate stamp set, which is this set. And you can see there's this cute stamp that has these 4 little woodland creatures in it, and I love it. I actually took and cut apart my stamps. So let me show you that. I've got 2 of the pieces here, and I did it in such a way that they will come back together basically as one puzzle piece, really. So I've got my 2 pieces here, and all that I need to do if I want to use this as one stamp image is to just line those up along the edges so that the pieces match like a puzzle. And then here are my other 2 pieces. You can see this piece is going to fit in here, and then this piece is going to actually fit, or no, I'm sorry. Do I have this wrong? Oh yeah, because, and then this piece goes right here, and then when you flip it over, I was like, but the bunny is on that side. Okay. So anyway, the pieces all connect together pretty easily, so I can use them together all as one if I would like. But this way, I can pull them apart and use them individually, which I love. And of course, this bunny, Easter, just saying. Okay, so anyway, I love how easy it is to create all kinds of different looks and to put fun and new surprises behind that door to slide across for someone who gets this card. So let me show you how to put it together. I've got some great tips on using these items, so let me show you. The first thing that I've done is I've taken my, this piece, which creates the tracks. This die cuts just these 2 tracks out of my cardstock, as you can see. And I have created the tracks out of a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of cardstock. This is Old Olive. And then I'm going to fold my card base in half, which is Pear Pizzazz. And the next thing that I need to do to create my track is that I'm going to use a window sheet. Now, when we first were introduced to this barn door, they suggested using number 6 washers, which sounds wonderful, but it also includes a trip to the hardware store. And while there are crafting supplies at the hardware store, I generally don't like going to the hardware store if I can help it, unless I'm getting something fabulous there, like for my house or something like that. But in this case, no, thank you. So I had seen a demonstrator use a piece of window sheet instead of washers for this, and I found that it works fantastic. The other thing is that it will not add weight or bulkness to your card the way that a washer will, or a penny. Sometimes people use pennies. And so I love that it keeps the weight down, and it also keeps the bulkiness down. So when I first did my piece of window sheet, I cut the piece to be about as wide as the door. And then I just had this slightly narrower piece left, and I thought, well, we're just going to use that because we're not cutting another whole hunk of window sheet just for this. Okay, so I do like to go logically about things when I stamp. So I'm just going to cut 2 pieces of my foam adhesive strips to be the same width as my barn door, or I'm sorry, as same width as my window sheet. Goodness, words are hard. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my window sheet or I'm going to set the die cut piece on top of my window sheet. There's nothing sticking out at the top or the bottom. And then I'm going to place my foam adhesive strips nice and tight to the top edge or the bottom edge, basically as close to the center die cut edge as I can. Okay, and what that does is it keeps this going straight instead of letting it kind of hobble and be crooked. Okay, so you can see that is moving nicely behind. I'll flip it over so you can see the back side. Notice it's not sticking out on either side, and then you can see my foam adhesive strips are nice and tight to this cut edge here and here. Okay, so there we go. So we've got that part. This is the mechanism for the slider, which is all set and ready to go. And then what we need to do is cut our door. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. So, we're going to actually do all the stamping and die cutting at once. So I've got my barn door stamp, and I'm going to ink it up with soft suede. I just wanted it to be a little darker than the crumb cake cardstock I'm stamping it on. So there we go. Awesome. We'll set that aside and cut it out with our, goodness, there we go, with our barn door framelit. And by the way, one of the things I always do whenever I'm die cutting stuff that needs to be centered is I'm going to use a little washi tape to hold it in place. The reason I'm doing that is because if you saw my video on preserving your cutting plastic. Oh my gosh, words really are hard this morning. I'm so sorry. This is a tip for that. Okay, so I can still run this through upside down in my Big Shot to preserve my cutting plate, but this will hold my framelit in place. Okay, in addition to that, I'm also going to do a little bit of stamping for the wreath that's on my card here. Okay, so for that, I'm going to use the wreath image and stamp it 3 separate times. The first time is going to be an old olive, and that's where I want the whole wreath. So I'll stamp that right here. Okay, don't worry, we caught the center. It doesn't matter because the die center is going to get die cut out. Because check out this framelit. It's actually pretty cool. So this will cut the center right out. Okay, next I want to have some colored flowers. So let me quick clean off my stamp. And then I'm going to stamp these flowers twice. Okay, once is going to be in Tangerine Tango, and then the second time is going to be in Melon Mambo. And then there are actually individual dies that will cut those pieces out. So I can cut this flower set out as a whole. And then I can also cut out this one individual flower. There's dies for each piece, so I can cut the entire thing out together, and then I can also cut individually out all 3 flowers. Okay, now to set these up, what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to hold them in place, but I'm going to use a Post-it note. Just because it's easy. It doesn't really matter what I use, just as long as it holds the die in place for me. But I find Post-it notes are helpful as well. Partly because sometimes you get washi kind of going in like every direction, and you don't always want that. Crisscrossing everything. Okay, so I'll put this one on, and then I'll go ahead and die cut these, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I die cut my pieces for my barn door. Now I also need some hardware pieces. So I'm going to use a piece of basic black cardstock and our Stampin' multi-purpose adhesive sheets. They're not Stampin' sheets, they're multi-purpose adhesive sheets. And all that I need to do on here is pull back actually I'm going to use my poking device With my nails, I can never seem to get things started. And where did my poking device go? Oh, it's over here. Okay. So I'm just going to adhere this adhesive sheet because these hardware pieces are pretty skinny and we want to be able to adhere them easily to our card once we've die cut them out. Okay, so I've just adhered that to my cardstock, and then I'm going to die cut the rail through here as well as two of the hardware pieces as well as the handle. Okay, so I need to die cut each of these two pieces on here, and I did this strip so that you could actually get two sets of everything quite easily out of here. And of course I'll hold these all on with post-it notes. Now I've actually done that already. So I've got those pieces die cut. So now all we need to do is put together our card. Okay, so again, we've got our slider mechanism in here working wonderfully. And then next what we need to do is take and adhere our barn door. We want to make sure that we adhere this nice and straight on here. So I'm going to pull off my adhesive backing, and then I'm going to place my barn door right on top like so. Okay, and that looks good. It's sliding nicely, which makes me happy. Now to get the hardware on there, I'm going to take my rail, and I've got that adhesive on the back already, which makes me oh so happy. I'll get the backing peeled off here with my piercing tool. I'm just going to adhere that down, and look at how easy that was. Okay, I've also got my hardware pieces, and on these I just want to be able to pick them up, really. I just want to pull these off and make sure that all the little hole pieces are removed, okay? So that there's two holes here, a center one here, and a center one here. And I like to line these up so that the bottom of the circular portion will line up with the line of the door. Okay, so there's one. And then we'll do the other one. I think it's so easy with these adhesive sheets to get this stuff on here. It's so much easier than if you were trying to glue them. And I know that because when I very first made this, I used liquid glue and it just was not as easy. Okay, so then I'll do the same thing. I'll line this up right over here. And there we go. Next, we need a handle for our door. And then we're also going to adhere our pieces of the wreath. And I'm telling you, the hardest part is just getting this backing off, but when you use the piercing tool, it really helps. Okay, I used to be able to do this with my nails, but all right, and I'll just kind of position this where I want and give it a good press. All right, now for our wreath, it's really easy to just use a couple glue dots to position all of these gorgeous flowers in place. I love that they made it so we could die cut each of these flowers individually if we wanted, which makes it so fun and easy to create different colors. So there's that piece, and then I'm going to add my center flower right over the top like so. And then of course I'll attach this with a couple of glue dots to my barn door. That makes it easy. Like so. Okay, so we're almost done with our card. All we need to do is flip this over and attach it with some dimensionals. Now you can use your foam adhesive strips if you want, but what I've discovered is that makes it kind of a tall card. It sticks up pretty high, and so I prefer to use the slightly thinner dimensionals on my edge pieces right here. I just want to make sure that I'm not interfering with my window sheet piece. And then that makes everything nice and easy. We'll just attach this to our card. Now the last thing that we need to do besides a little bit of embellishment, is we need to stamp our little furry creatures. And I've got a couple tips for that as well. Okay, so that panel is going to fit under here, and this is going to be 3 3/4 by 2.5, and all the dimensions and all the supplies, everything I've used will be on the blog link, which is just in the description of this video. You can see I'm going to slide this under here, and it fits just perfect. So I'm going to kind of center it. Then what I'm going to do is slide the barn door all the way over. I'm going to put a little pencil mark right there, and then I'm going to slide the barn door all the way over this way and put a little pencil mark there. And what I've discovered is, on this particular case, it's almost dead center. When I did my original card, there was actually about a 1/4 of an inch in between. And the reason you do this is you want to make sure you know what you'll be able to see on each side, so that when you do your stamping, it's in the correct position. Okay, so what I'm going to do now that I have my marks on here is I'm going to do my stamping. I've started, by the way, I did cut one other stamp apart. So we have Friends Forever. So I just cut that apart. And we're going to stamp that in Melon Mambo ink. And then we're going to add our cute little woodland creatures right above that. Okay. So I think it might be kind of fun too. I'm going to stamp Friends here and then Forever up here, just to kind of change things up a little. And then I'll stamp my woodland creatures in black ink, black Memento ink, because I'm going to color these in with my Stampin' Blends. Okay. All right, so we've got our cute little furry creatures. I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends, as I mentioned. I've got my Crumb Cake combo, my Smoky Slate combo, and some Pink Pirouette. Now, to color these, it's really easy. I'm going to use the lighter card or color on the face of my little squirrel here and his tummy. And then I did the bottom of his tail, because isn't that where it's lighter? I think so. Okay, and then everything else I'll do in the darker color. So there's not really much blending going on here, but it is cute. And these markers just color everything so nicely and vibrant. Looks like a professional illustrator did this. Which of course I am, but there we go. That's one side. Now for my raccoon, I'm going to do the darker colors. Let me slide this over so you can see. Same kind of concept. On the tail, I actually did every other tail segment a little darker and lighter, and then I did his body darker, and then of course his tummy was lighter. And likewise on his face, I did that lighter as well, just like on our squirrel. I think I did darker ears. Okay. So do light tummy. Every other section of his tail is light, and his face is light. Now I left his muzzle, gosh, I'm coloring outside the lines. I left his kind of muzzle clear, but I'm going to use my Pink Pirouette marker to color his ears, because isn't that cute? Everybody knows raccoons have pink ears, don't they? I don't know. Okay. Next, I'm done with my lines. I don't need those anymore, so I'll erase that. And then we're going to adhere this to our card. Now, I kind of like using liquid glue on this because I can slide this in and then kind of move it around a little bit if I need to. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to slide this in. And I've kind of got this in the center so I can see where I'm going. Make sure this is kind of centered top to bottom and side to side within that track area. And then boom and boom. Notice you can't see the other side when you slide. So last thing we're going to do is add a couple of rhinestones. Oh, if I can find my rhinestones. To decorate. And here again, I'm just going to kind of poke these off and stick them down. Like so. And that is our adorable card. Wouldn't this be so fun for a kid or a friend to send to somebody? So I hope you liked this tutorial and it gave you lots of great tips on how to do both the stamping, the brackets, and the mechanism for your slider and everything. Thank you so much for stamping with me today. Of course, if you need any of these supplies, I would love to earn your business as your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I have a fantastic VIP rewards program for my customers and would love to invite you to be a part of that. All you need to do is place an order through my online store. There's links at the bottom of this video description for the products I used, as well as the link to my my blog where all of the items are also linked to my online store. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you again soon. Bye.